exactly these guys are going to have in store for each other. You care to introduce our wonderful players here for us, Metals?
I'd love to do that, Nathanius. In the top left position, we have got the red Zerg player from Team Liquid. He tried to go as macro could be. And we have, from Team Liquid, Ret. And his opponent down in the bottom right. From Mauser Esports, the blue Protoss, who went for a lovely timing window, catching Ret off guard. It's MaNa.
And Belshir Vestige, one of those maps where it's actually pretty damn hard to wall off your natural expansion. I wouldn't be surprised if MaNa opened with a Forge. A lot of players actually prefer to open with gateways on this map more recently, just because of that risk of being hit with some sort of fast link timing. Although Ret, he's not the guy that's going to do that to you. So MaNa's going to go up and scout. This is probably one of the few players you could safely just go Nexus first against, even almost blind battles. Ret's slightly predictable.
Yep, he likes drones. He likes them a lot, and he's just going to drone as much as possible. We saw that in Game 1, though. He droned a little bit too much. He made one too many hatcheries a bit too soon, and MaNa punished that. So Ret, I really think that he's going to be more cautious this game. Won't want to risk having a nice quick 2-0, because WCS Challenger is a big thing. The winner of this game will go on to face one of the people who came down from the Premier group stage. Then they'll battle it through the rest of this bracket in order to try and get up into, obviously, Premier League themselves. The loser of this game will get knocked down into the Challenger group stages, which is still good. You can still win the Challenge division and things like that, earn some prize money, so you're not out of the tournament yet. But the Premier is where everyone wants to go. You want to be the top, you want to be the best in the region, and obviously Ret wants to be one of those people, so he is going to be going upmost to try and take this as he gets up his natural base. We did see MaNa go for a Nexus first, but the Overlord is just going to come floating in and get a complete reveal on what MaNa did do.
Yeah, I don't find this surprising at all. Both players recognizing, well, MaNa's like, okay, well, you're gonna be greedy, so he scouted it and made 100% sure, and now he's got his Forge after the Nexus. And Ret, well, I bet my bottom dollar he's gonna be sending a drone over to that third base any second now. Anything else would almost be sacrilege of the religion of drones, but cannon on the way now for MaNa as well. And Ret, he sees all, and hey, what do you know? There's a drone on the way to the third.
Perfectly normal timing. That third base will come up around the 4-minute mark, pretty much bang on the 4-minute mark, actually. So Ret getting it right on the dot. If you read a build order on Team Liquid saying how to execute this quick, fast 3 bases against a Forge fast expansion, it would tell you the 4-minute mark is where you want to get it down. But now a couple of Zerglings are going to sneak past. Only 3. So this isn't terrible, but it's still enough to be slightly frustrating. Where you're just going to be like, oh, 3 Zerglings in my base, lots of scouting information, there's no units out, so the probes are going to have to micro in order to stay alive. 1 or 2 could even go down here, and even if they don't kill any, you're wasting some mining time, you're wasting a little bit of time. 1 probe does get taken there. These Zerglings are going to be fairly happy with themselves.
Yeah, the number one thing that Zerglings in a Protoss player's base this early on do is, you pull your probes, you're like, okay, well, I shoved him off, the Zerglings run away. And then the Zerglings come back, and then you pull them again to shove them off. But the problem becomes, you actually slow down your build a lot. And most pro players, if you talk to them as far as Protoss players go, will tell you, use a couple probes here and there, suddenly your robotics facility is 30 seconds later, everything just ends up being later and later, because you're really hurting your own mining by having to defend against this and focus your attention on making sure that those Zerglings don't actually get a bunch of free drone kills. So definitely a good play here from MaNa. From Ret. He's been able to run around. He's killed 2 probes so far for pretty much nothing. These Zerglings are kind of, they're going to die no matter what anyway. So everything that he gets is basically free farm, really.
The other good thing as well for Ret here is by having these 2 Zerglings in the main base, he gets limitless scouting information without having to sacrifice any overlords. Or while these are still up, he can just run around and be like, well, if you chuck anything down, I'm going to know about it in this main base. That's why he's going on this nice little pattern around all of the main. Meanwhile, the third base is up and running here for Ret. He hasn't taken any gas yet. The first 2 are just finishing up, so that's where his first gas income's coming. The Mothership Core now on his way, but these Zerglings are about to get shut down because a Stalker is down on the field. Are they going to try and run to the natural quickly? Yes, they will, and they should be able to get off the scout just on that robotic facility. Did he see it? Did Ret see it? I believe. Yes, he did. Okay, so Ret has been able to see that third robotic facility has come down. So good little bit of scouting information there. He now knows precisely what MaNa has planned.
Yeah, and now the Overlord is going to come in and do a confirmation check. He's going to get a click on it. No, 100% for sure. And at the same time, Rhett's going to start up his lair, take up some additional gas. No Roach Warren or anything, or any evolution chambers yet, so we could see something along the lines of a fast Spire from our Liquid Zerg. But of course, now this manufacture of Observers, Immortals, and other wonderful trinkets is now complete. The Robotics Bay is going to come up as well for MaNa, and this is a little bit less of what we've been seeing, at least as far as a Korean pro scene goes. Immortals and Colossi, not bad, but he could be anticipating that Rhett would want to go for some form of Swarm Host play. I feel like the Immortals, the little bit of damage he took earlier on is going to make doing any kind of timing with this not very easy. So I feel like this is purely defensive.
I'd agree though, because swarm hosts are something that I would expect on Belshir. There's really nice areas just outside of the natural base, because there's like 2 distinct entrances into the natural and 2 distinct entrances into the third. If you position swarm hosts in a nice position, you can really harass from multiple different angles, and it can be really difficult, and you can contain a Protoss player really easily with swarm hosts on this map, and that's something that obviously MaNa's aware of. But Rhett, he's going to be going for that Hydra Den. He's also got the Evolution Chamber researching the +1 missile attack, so a Ling Hydra composition, which will not fare well at all against this Robotics Bay. Rhett is reading into this that it's going to be an Immortal Sentry push, which obviously Hydra Ling would be a great response to, but a Colossus, it's going to tear through it incredibly easily.
Yeah, the decision to commit on the Colossi makes me feel like this could be something aggressive, but the problem is MaNa can't really afford to throw on a bunch of gateways right now. He's still only on 1. He has 2 on the way. He's going to have to throw a lot more to commit, but the problem is by the time he actually gets up enough resources to get a really dedicated, committed push going, Rhett's going to have had more than enough time to scout this out and prepare an adequate defense. The Spire is on the way. The missile attacks are coming in, the Groove Spines as well for that Hydralisk range, and all Rhett needs to do is play this smart, and he should be all right. But, you know, he actually hasn't scouted the Robotics Bay. He doesn't know about the Colossi just yet, so for all he knows, this could be a defensive Immortal expand.
Yeah, Rhett was, by his reaction, he was 100% sure with the Groove Spines as well that it was going to be some kind of Immortal timing push. So now he's got a lot of Hydras out, but the Colossi count is going to start raising. 1 already down on the field. Rhett needs to identify this quickly. Yes, he's got the Spire coming out as well as the Roach Warren, so he's got the option to get some Corruptors out in order to deal with those Colossi fairly soon. He's also building... Yeah, the Roach Warren is coming down, so that's fine. He's going to be in a nice spot now in order just to basically tech up and get into the mid-game quite comfortably, but the Hydra Ling force is not going to be too effective.
No, not at all. The Colossi are so good versus that, especially with that range upgrade. He's getting a Warp Prism to supplement this as well. A lot of Warp Gates now in the field for MaNa. This is 8 gateways. This is pretty much all in here. And, you know, the Hydralisks, I feel like skipping any kind of Roaches is a bit of a misstep, because you need them to tank a little bit more of that damage. He doesn't actually have really any out on the field. Now he's starting to produce a couple. The Corruptors are going to be very important, though. At this stage in the game, MaNa does not have a very effective answer to the Corruptors. Sure, they deal bonus damage to Armored, but Corruptors have so much health.
They do, and there's not even that many Stalkers down on the field. 4 at the moment. Admittedly, the gateways can start warping in more. There's 4 more on their way. But the good thing Rhett's doing is he's proactively using those Zerglings in order to get around the back, in order to try and keep MaNa back defensive, not push out too further, overextend, buying Rhett the time he needs to get those Corruptors out, to get more Spines out, to get more Roaches out. I want to touch on the fact that he didn't get those Roaches out straight away. That's fine if your opponent is definitely going for an Immortal timing push, because Ling Hydra wrecks it. But the second those Colossi come in, you're in problems, which is why Rhett blindly got the Spire, even before he knew the Colossi there. But Nathanius, he's moving in towards the third.
Yeah, 2 Spine Crawlers immediately going to fall, and the Corruptors are trying to get some damage in, but he's time warping away the Hydralisks and the Roaches so that he can get those damage done to those Corruptors. If the Colossi remain unchecked, this is going to be so powerful, and now Rhett trying to move in, trying to get a good concave. Corruption used on the Colossi. One of them is very low. Rhett, though, is he going to try to commit to pushing this through? He's going to kill off one of the Colossus, but there's still, there's only 2 Corruptors left, and MaNa, now, I think with this one Colossi, this can actually be enough, but it's going to take some really good positioning, and I feel like with as few force fields as he has, it's going to be hard to get that positioning.
It will be hard. The Corruptors are coming in. There's a few more going to pop soon. Muscular Augment's about to kick in as well for the Hydra, so they will be able to go for the chase down. The Colossus will fall, and with that, I feel MaNa has got to fall back. The Roach Hydra Force is going to break so easily through this Stalker Immortal group, and as we can see, those Hydras, especially with the +1 missile attack, is going to be able to do so much damage, and MaNa is in full retreat, but with Muscular Augments, with Roach Speed done as well, all of this force from Rhett is just going to chase down, getting an Immortal there, and he's even taking a 4th base straight away.
Yeah, very nice response here from Rhett. And the thing is, for MaNa, this suddenly becomes very difficult because he doesn't have that area of effect damage that he needed earlier. He's getting another Warp Prism, which can help, but GG for MaNa, and we're going to have Rhett tie things up for a 1-1 score here.